Our first story is The Witch of Eldermore. In the heart of the misty Eldermore Valley, nestled between towering oaks and whispering willows, lay a small village. The villagers led simple lives, tending to their crops and livestock, but a shadow loomed over their daily routines. The legend of the witch. Her name was Morwenna, and she was said to dwell in a crooked cottage at the edge of the woods, surrounded by a wild garden of herbs and strange flowers. The villagers spoke of her in hushed tones, sharing tales of her dark magic and the strange happenings that followed her presence. It was said that she could control the weather, heal the sick, and even curse those who wronged her. As autumn descended upon Eldermore, the village prepared for the harvest festival. But this year, the crops were failing and a sense of unease filled the air. Whispers spread that Morwenna was to blame, her powers having turned against them as retribution for their disdain. Fear grew among the villagers, igniting a desire for vengeance. Among them was a young girl named Elara. Unlike the others, she was curious rather than afraid. Elara had always been captivated by the stories of the witch, imagining her not as a monster, but as a misunderstood soul. When her younger brother fell ill with a mysterious fever, Elara decided to seek out Morwenna, hoping the witch could help him. As dusk fell, Elara ventured into the woods, guided by the silver light of the moon. The trees whispered secrets, and the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and moss. After what felt like hours of walking, she stumbled upon Morwenna's cottage, its crooked silhouette outlined against the night sky. Taking a deep breath, Elara knocked on the weathered door. To her surprise, it creaked open, revealing a warm glow from within. The witch stood there, her long hair cascading like shadows, eyes piercing yet curious. "What do you seek, child?" Morwenna asked, her voice a melody of warmth and wisdom. "My brother is sick," Elara replied, her voice trembling. "Please, can you help him?" Morwenna studied the girl, her expression softening. "Many fear me for what they do not understand. But tell me, what do you believe of me?" Elara hesitated. "I believe that you have the power to help." A faint smile appeared on Morwenna's lips. "Very well. I will help your brother. But you must understand the cost of magic." Elara nodded, determined. Morwenna gestured for her to enter, the cottage filled with the scent of herbs and the sound of bubbling potions. The witch began her work, mixing ingredients with deft hands, her movements both graceful and precise. "Magic is neither good nor evil," Morwenna explained as she worked. "It is a force that flows through all things. It is how we wield it that matters." After what felt like hours, Morwenna handed Elara a small vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "Give this to your brother at dawn. He will recover. But remember, magic often has unintended consequences." Elara thanked the witch profusely, her heart racing with hope. As she left the cottage, she turned back to see Morwenna watching her, a mixture of sadness and understanding in her gaze. At dawn, Elara rushed home, her heart pounding with anticipation. She found her brother pale and still, but with a flicker of life in his eyes. With trembling hands, she administered the potion. Moments later, he stirred, the fever breaking as color returned to his cheeks. News of the miraculous recovery spread through the village like wildfire. The villagers, once fearful of Morwenna, now revered her as a healer. However, not all were convinced. A group of men, led by the village blacksmith, saw an opportunity to rid themselves of their fears once and for all. They resolved to confront the witch, believing that she was behind the recent misfortunes, despite Elara's insistence on her goodness. One moonlit night, armed with torches and pitchforks, the men marched toward Morwenna's cottage, shouting curses and threats. Elara, sensing the impending danger, raced after them, desperate to protect the witch who had saved her brother. As the villagers reached the cottage, Morwenna emerged calm and composed. "What do you seek?" she asked, her voice steady. "Leave this place," the blacksmith shouted. "Your magic has cursed us. We want no more of your tricks." Morwenna stood firm. "You blame me for your own fears. Magic does not curse. It reflects the darkness in your hearts. Ilara pushed through the crowd, standing defiantly before the men. No! Morwenna, save my brother. She's not a witch to be feared, but a healer who helps those in need. For a moment, silence hung in the air, the villagers torn between fear and reason. Morwenna's eyes softened as she regarded Ilara. Child, the fear of the unknown is a powerful force, but knowledge can dispel it. With Ilara's courage, the villagers began to see beyond their fears. One by one, they lowered their weapons, contemplating Morwenna's words. The blacksmith, though reluctant, found himself questioning the narrative he had believed for so long. In the days that followed, Morwenna remained in Eldermore, slowly earning the villagers' trust. She taught them about herbs, healing, and the balance of nature. The harvest festival, once clouded by fear, became a celebration of unity and understanding. Ilara grew close to Morwenna, learning the ways of the forest and the art of magic. The villagers learned to appreciate her gifts, and slowly, the legend of the witch transformed from one of fear to one of wisdom. As seasons turned to years, the story of the witch in Eldermore became a tale of resilience and compassion, a reminder that understanding can bridge the divide between fear and acceptance. And at the heart of it all was a young girl who dared to seek the truth beyond the shadows. Our second story is The Witch in Quaint Village. In the heart of a quaint village surrounded by dense, shadowy woods, there lived a witch named Ilara. The villagers, wary of her mysterious ways, often whispered tales of her dark magic and forbidden potions. Most would cross the street to avoid her small, crooked cottage at the edge of the forest, where the air always seemed to shimmer with a strange energy. Ilara was not the villain the villagers believed her to be. Once, she had been a part of the village, a healer known for her skills in herbal medicine. But when the village fell upon hard times and strange misfortunes began to plague them, cattle falling ill, crops failing, and children becoming mysteriously ill, fear took root. Desperate to find a scapegoat, the villagers turned their suspicions towards her, branding her a witch. In her isolation, Ilara learned to embrace her powers. She could communicate with the spirits of the forest and harness the energies of the earth. Yet, she longed for acceptance and connection. On moonlit nights, she would sit on her porch, listening to the distant laughter of children playing in the village, feeling the weight of their fear pressing against her heart. One fateful autumn evening, as the harvest moon rose high, a terrible storm struck the village. Wind howled through the streets, and rain battered against the roofs, causing chaos and destruction. As the villagers scrambled to secure their homes, they soon discovered that their most precious possession, a sacred bell that had been in the village for generations, was missing. The bell, believed to ward off evil and bring good fortune, was nowhere to be found. Panic spread like wildfire. Without the bell, they believed the village would be cursed. In their desperation, they remembered Ilara. Though they had cast her out, they now needed her skills. A group of brave souls, led by a young woman named Mira, decided to venture into the forest to seek her help. Mira had always felt a connection to Ilara. She recalled the times Ilara had healed her mother with a special salve made from wildflowers. With her heart set on finding the witch, she led the group to Ilara's cottage, where they hesitated at the door. The wind howled, and shadows danced ominously around them, but Mira knocked. Ilara opened the door, her long silver hair framing her face, eyes bright with curiosity and caution. "What brings you here?" she asked, her voice steady despite the storm. Mira stepped forward, her voice trembling but resolute. "We need your help. The village bell is lost, and without it, we fear a curse will befall us." The villagers exchanged nervous glances, unsure if they could trust the witch. But Mira continued, "You were once one of us, Ilara. Please help us." Ilara considered their plea. She sensed their desperation and the lingering fear that had driven her into isolation. With a heavy sigh, she nodded. "I will help you, but you must promise to listen and trust me." As they entered her home, the atmosphere shifted. Shelves lined with jars of herbs and crystals filled the space, and a warm light glowed from a hearth. Alara gathered ingredients for a spell to locate the bell. She instructed the villagers to join hands, creating a circle of unity. "Close your eyes and focus on the bell," she said, her voice weaving through the air like an incantation. Moments passed in silence before a flicker of light danced in Alara's cauldron, revealing a vision of the bell. It hung from a branch deep in the woods, illuminated by a ghostly light. It was taken by a spirit, angered by the village's neglect of the forest, Alara explained. "We must appease it to retrieve the bell." The villagers exchanged worried glances, but followed Alara as she led them deeper into the forest. As they walked, she shared stories of the land, its spirits, and the balance between nature and the village. Slowly, the villagers began to see her not as a witch, but as a guardian of the woods. When they reached the clearing where the bell hung, a shimmering figure appeared, an ethereal spirit of the forest, its eyes glinting with sorrow. "Why do you disturb my peace?" it asked, its voice echoing like the rustling leaves. Mira stepped forward, finding her voice. "We came to ask for forgiveness. We neglected the forest and took its gifts for granted. We wish to restore balance and honor your spirit." Alara supported her, adding, "We will protect this land and all its spirits. Please, let us have the bell back, and we promise to care for the forest." The spirit watched them closely, gauging their sincerity. After a long silence, it nodded. "If you truly wish to restore the bond between your village and this land, the bell is yours. But remember, it is a reminder of your duty to respect and cherish the earth." With that, the spirit released the bell, which floated down into Myra's hands. The villagers rejoiced, gratitude washing over them. They realized that Alara was not their enemy, but a vital part of their community's fabric. As they returned to the village, the storm began to dissipate, and a sense of calm settled over the land. The villagers embraced Alara, thanking her for her wisdom and bravery. From that day forward, they welcomed her back into their lives, inviting her to share her knowledge and help them heal the land they had once neglected. Alara, in turn, offered her guidance, teaching them to nurture the forest and respect its magic. The village flourished once more, and the bond between the witch and the villagers became a tale passed down through generations. A reminder that sometimes, the very thing we fear can be our greatest ally.